Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
The Likud party, typically known for its staunch loyalty in the public eye, is now starting to crack under Prime Minister Netanyahu following the announcement of indictments against the party leader. And Netanyahu vehemently denies all allegations of wrongdoing, vowing to remain in office for as long as he's able. But he is expected to relinquish control over his other 4 ministerial portfolios, and now rivals within the Likud party are challenging him for what's left. Well, Netanyahu has now agreed to demands by party activists to hold Likud party leadership primaries within 6 weeks' time. The prime minister is unlikely to hold primaries before the deadline for forming a coalition, though, meaning that Israel is rolling towards a landmark third election cycle with practical certainty. The potential silver lining, however, may be that if Israel does go back to elections, it will look very different. Knesset member Shlomo Karhi of the Likud says that he's received the green light from Netanyahu to push a bill that would rewrite the rules for the vote. And here's how it works. First, Israelis would vote as normal for parties that have their own leaders. But if after this first round no clear winner capable of forming a coalition is chosen, a second new round would initiate, and it would allow voters to choose directly for the prime minister between the two heads of the 2 most popular parties, which in this case would be Netanyahu and his rival Benny Gantz. Then the winner would be awarded an additional 12 seats in the Knesset to ensure a stable majority. Karhi explains that the idea is that if we fail to realize the will of the voters, we'll get back to the voters in order to ask which narrow government they prefer. Eli Cohen was a spy in Syria during the 1960s, and considered a hero in Israel, the information he retrieved was invaluable to the IDF ahead of the Six-Day War of 1967. In 1965, though, he was executed for espionage by the Syrian government, and Israel's been working to recover his body ever since. Well, now, the self-proclaimed son of the only person on the planet who knows where Cohen is buried has come forward, and he wants to give Israel the dirt, but only for a price.
I am the son of the only person on this planet who knows where the remains are buried.
His name is Khalid al-Hafid, son of former Syrian President Amin al-Hafiz, and he moved to New Zealand as a refugee years ago. And speaking with NewsHub on Sunday, he says that he's made contact with the Israeli Mossad via the New Zealand Secret Intelligence Service, intent on trading information on Cohen's location. But in return, Hafid says that he's asked for $1 million. That said, he insists that despite having debts, the money is not his primary motivation. Rather, he says the $1 million was for taking on dangers involved in procuring and providing this intelligence, including visiting the war-torn Syria and risking discovery as an agent for the Mossad. Also, he says he wanted to do it not for the money or for the Mossad, but for the wife and children of Eli Cohen. The Israeli Mossad, however, reportedly only showed initial interest before going radio silent. And at any rate, whether or not the Mossad ignored him before, Hafid insists that he's still willing to cooperate. Earlier this week, an Italian composer brought to life the notes of the dead in a concert held in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Ah, voilà la partition. Ça a été fait au camp.
Francesco Lotoro spent 30 years gathering up over 8,000 musical works that were salvaged from composers who lived during the Holocaust. Toilet paper scrolls, charcoal bag measures, and notes folded up and shoved into pockets, Lotoro was able to piece together a show that represented 1,600 different composers. And the concert commemorated the Jewish community's 75th anniversary of concentration camp liberation. And Lotoro dedicated his life to recovering these scraps from families throughout Europe who still had the music on hand.
My father, when he fled, he folded it up and put it in his pocket.
Lotoro says he's doing a mitzvah, though, or in Hebrew, a good deed, but he also says that he would probably be doing it anyway, even if he were not a Jew. At the age of 39, the composer converted from Catholicism to Judaism, and a few years back, a movie called The Maestro was actually produced showcasing the work and documenting Lotoro's journey to get the notes back and ultimately make them sing.
All right, that's all for now. Follow us on Facebook at Israel English News and, of course, on Twitter at ILTV News. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.